that.
Okay, well, I guess we can get to these top five, excuse me, storytelling songs all time. So somebody was asking me or asking us the other day, who our top five storytelling MCs, and we kind of gave them a short list, man. We just rattled it off. I know my top five storytelling MCs is Scarface, Ghostface, Nas, Biggie, Slick Rick, and
So,
then
Mike, hold on real
go
quick.
ahead,
I have the same people, but I had to change my order about the list that I made today
go
because I
for it.
realized some things. So it's the same five people, but I got Nas at number one. I got Scarface at number two. I got Ghostface at number three. I got Slick Rick at number four, and I got Big at number five. But I got reasons why I moved Slick Rick and Big down and moved Ghostface and Scarface up.
Okay, well, I guess I must have convinced you otherwise. I don't know.
Well, one thing I realized is that Big is the only person in here, once again, with a brevity of stories. All these other guys have multiple stories to choose from. You don't have a lot of big stories to choose from, but what you have to choose from is pretty epic and comparable to the other guy's best stuff. And so I'm going to still put him in there because those stories are still captivating. Slick Rick has an album worth of stories, but after that, if you really want to get into the nuances of like how great the stories are, what you'll find is that Ghostface and Scarface over the course of their career have crafted more stories that are comparable to the joints that are on the greatest adventures of Slick Rick.
Well, what I will say about Slick Rick opened up a door and showed a lot of the next generation of MCs what was possible when it came to storytelling MC-wise.
He's like the Melly Mel of storytellers.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And Melly Mel's verse on The Message is what opened the door for conscious hip-hop, really.
It's still one of the best verses ever, too, Mike.
Well, I don't even want to say just the verse, the whole song. You know what I'm saying? That whole song is.
But that first and that second verse, that's still some of like the best rap stuff that you'll find. If you're talking about like content, lyrics, delivery, impact, voice, like he was ahead of his time. Yeah, he's ahead of his time.
All right, so yeah, Complex just recently had Ghostface on their couch, and they were talking about the bracket. I actually filled out this bracket. Coop filled out this bracket too. But Ghostface ended up saying that Rewind by Nas was the best storytelling song of all time. This is how the bracket shaped out. I got the bracket on the screen right now, Coop. I don't know if you're looking at it. But they had Impossible going against A Good Day. Nah, it's all good. You seen it earlier, though. They had Impossible by Wu-Tang going against Ice Cube's Today's a Good Day. I had Today's a Good Day on that one. Did you agree with that? All right.
Yep. I had Good Day over Impossible, too.
All right.
You want to get into why? Because some people may argue with us about that. What's your why?
My why on there, I just think is, collectively from beginning to end, Today Was a Good Day is just a better song as far as like, storytelling going. And just, we remember so many nuances of that story. And I think it's one full song as opposed to one verse.
That's my thing. So Ghost verse is better, but that song is better. And Mike, that's actually one of the most important songs in rap history on the low because of the visual aid provided. Because what you were hearing, you visualized, and then he gave you the actual visual, and it coincided perfectly. It's one of his best songs. It's one of rap's best songs. It's just it's like a masterful moment. Like,
I mean, we all know what happened in that day. Like, who'd the Lakers beat?
The Supersonics, Mike.
Most definitely. Everyone knows that.
We already know. That's what I mean about how it's iconic, low key. It's like, Mike, I even remember the video when he getting up in the morning and going to the sink and like yeah. It's too iconic. It's too iconic for Impossible.
All right, so we got Renee versus Outkast's Artist Storytelling Part 1. And that's Renee by Lost Boys. I picked Renee over that. I think it's a very impressive, song, Artist Storytelling by Outkast. But yeah, as far as storytelling, I think Renee's top notch. And then we got Niggas Bleed going against Undying Love by Nas. Niggas Bleed is Biggie's song, of course. I put Niggas Bleed over that.
Yeah, like Nas. Okay, so the reason I have Nas at number one, all-time storytellers, because he literally has a storytelling greatest hits list that I'm gonna get to in a minute. But Undying Love would be like at the bottom, like 5 of the 14, 15 records I wrote down. It's not even one of his 10 best stories.
We're going to get to that too once we go through this thing, because again, these are just the options that Complex had on their site. And,
I don't know why they chose that as an option. That's not even the best option from that album. Small World's a better story.
Yeah. Midget Mike said, I can't believe Lost Boys Renee went that far. Well, that's just on my list, but I'll explain mine.
Hold on. What's wrong? Renee by the Lost Boys actually has the rare distinction of being one of the best rap songs ever, one of the best love rap songs ever, and one of the best storytelling rap songs ever. It's a tour de force of a song. No.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how high I held this record until, I started doing this.
I told you, Mike, it's one of like the top 3 or 4 like hip hop love songs ever. Like, it's high.
And on the other side, they had Stan versus A Children's Story. I got A Children's Story on that.
Not beating that record.
They set you up, Eminem. They set you up. And then
for failure. Set you up for
See,
failure.
I didn't. You would think I put that together, right?
You want to know what's crazy?
You know,
if you watch it, Ghost was picking Stan. Ghost picked Stan over Children's Story. That's what some of the most surprising shit that I've ever seen. Ghost picked Stan over Children's Story. Ghost picked Stan over a few records on there. Stan made it far on Ghost shit.
Don't give the Stans even more ammunition. We're not even. I don't even want to acknowledge that.
Mike, Ghostface Killer and Cool G Rap seem to think that this guy can rap. So you just.
They're in the industry, man. They have to say
Ghost. No. Ghost don't got to say that. See, those dudes don't have to say that. That's why I'm saying that. Those dudes don't have to play those type of games.
They have their opinion. And listen, this is what I will say about Stan. I don't want to sound like I'm just glossing over Stan.
He made Supreme Clientele and Iron Man. He thinks Stan is dope.
I feel
that means something.
But see, no, it doesn't. See, I think that's where you and I differ.
This is where you and I differ. He made Supreme Clientele and Iron Man. The man has taste.
I don't care. I'm sorry. Like, I like your music, but that doesn't mean I have to agree with your opinion on music. So, I mean, look, I don't care if Rakim tells me that Eminem's the God. I mean,
talk about Rakim and Nas.
Listen, that's great for them. That's great for them.
He said he'd be asking them questions about what they be doing. He'd be asking them what's the recipe.
No, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? No, I feel that. But the days of me sitting there just going along with everything or trying to agree with what one of my heroes says, I guess I'm just grown enough in the culture to disagree. It means nothing to me. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
Mike, in Marvel Comics, there are a lot of superheroes and everybody gravitates towards certain superheroes. All I'm saying is that your favorite superhero was out here picking Stan. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I disagree with him wholeheartedly. And I would debate him like I'm debating you. But this is what I will say about Stan.
Ghost likes details and Stan is detail-oriented. Ghost likes details. That's why he loves Nas so much.
I think Stan is I think it's a decent record. I think it's slightly overrated.
It's more than a decent record, thoa Mike. That's what I'm saying. See, this is where you
Somebody
get shady.
Just said, look, Mr. Buck said Stan Video made the song decent. Listen,
why are you pulling from that comment? Why don't we pull Ghostface Killer's comment up?
I could do that. I'll have to go back and
Bulletproof
pull it up.
Wallet,
What exactly did Ghost say about
Fish Scale, Iron Man, Supreme Clientele. Think he knows a little bit.
Miss Mo made a good point. Nas made Stan iconic. I agree.
He did icon. Yeah.
He did.
Get her off of here. Whoever said that, get them off of here.
Terminator 2 says Miss Mo. Facts. Yeah, okay. All right.
Terminator, why are you doing this?
Brenda's Got a Baby against Meet the Parents. Jay didn't even stand a chance on that. We got Brenda's Got a Baby. Rewind.
Shame on them, Mike. That's payola even putting Meet the Parents in there. That has no business in there.
Wait a minute. Is Meet the Parents Jay-Z's best storytelling song?
It is, and that's the only reason it's in there. But his best storytelling song doesn't measure up because there's not a Scarface song.
I was just about to say.
Is there a Scarface song in here?
No, I agree with you. But what I was going to say is I think that Jay-Z shouldn't have a song in the storytelling bracket.
Because he's not a storyteller. So that's politics.
They forced him in there.
Politics as usual.
Okay, so Rewind.
You gotta put Jay in there. It's Jay.
Rewind versus I Got a Story to Tell. That's interesting, but I got Rewind. They got Ghostface Maxine versus Miss Fat Booty by Most Def. I picked Miss Fat Booty.
Shame on them for doing that.
Yeah,
Shame on them for doing that to Ghost
cool.
while Ghost is sitting there. Why would you do that to Ghost with Ghost sitting there?
Now this is interesting right here. Today was a good day versus Renee. I picked Renee.
I picked a good day.
I'll tell you why I picked Renee over Today's a Good Day. I picked Renee because I felt like it had a better beginning, middle, and end. I think if you want to talk about what a story is supposed to do and grab you, I think that it did a better job of that than Today Was a Good Day. I think it wasn't a great resolution, but like I said, it read like a book, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? It had a beginning, middle, and end. And I think that with the flow of the song being what it was, I think it just did a better job as a storytelling song. Now, I think Today Was a Good Day was a better song, but I think that Renee's a better storytelling song, if that makes sense.
You sound like my high school English teacher, Angela Brathwaite, right now. Well, it has a beginning and a middle and an end, Armand.
It does.
And if you look at the nuances of the story is actually told better. And that's how you tell a story. Yeah. But you just said Ice Cube's It Was a Good Day is a better song.
But we're talking about storytelling. So I don't know why we're having this
conversation. So I don't know
why we're talking about storytelling songs.
So hold on. So the qualifier is that it's a storytelling song, correct? And so what is the better storytelling song?
You want me to keep it real? Because on the other side, I got a story. No, I'm gonna keep it real. On the other side, I got a story to tell is a better song than Rewind. But Rewind is a better storytelling song than I Got a Story to Tell.
I find Rewind to be both. Although, how about this,
no,
Mike? I'm
no,
it's
not a better song than I Got a Story to Tell. It's not.
No, Mike, I was about to say something. I like I Got a Story to Tell more than Niggas Bleed.
Me too.
It's still not better than Rewind to me.
It's a better song. The Rewind song is not a quote-unquote great song.
Yes, it is.
No, it is because of how great the story is. It's a better storytelling song.
Mike, he's rapping backwards.
I understand what you're saying. You're
going to find a higher level of entertainment value.
Again, have you been out and somebody throw on Rewind? People throw on I Got a Story to Tell all the time. It's a better song.
Is this Who Rocks the Party? Is that what this is about? Very problematic.
It's a better song. I hear I Got a Story to Tell in the mix all the time. It's just
I give the beat's better, but that's the only thing that's better. The story not better, the rhyme not better, the concept not better, the delivery's not better. Nothing else about the record is better except
I think the delivery's better.
Mike, he's talking backwards.
I understand what you're saying.
What are we talking about?
I heard the song.
We're talking about a guy talking forwards versus a guy talking backwards.
I understand what you're saying.
What you think is harder delivery-wise to pull off?
We're not talking about degree of difficulty. We're talking about how sonically it comes through.
I'm saying his delivery is precise and on point.
It's incredible. But again, Mike, it's more about...
Mike, if somebody's delivery is on point and precise while they're talking backwards...
It's so hard to debate with you against
Big
Nas.
Talking forward. Okay, Mike, all right.
It's so hard
We're going to have to agree to disagree. No, we're going to have to agree to disagree. Because I don't agree at all. A little bit. And Mike, and here's how much I love I Got a Story to Tell. I took a sample from I Got a Story to Tell and recorded a whole track and told a story around a snippet that I took from that song that I never released on my second album. So, I love that record. I pulled from that record, and it's still not better than Rewind.
Listen.
Still.
I think that, if we're naming top hip-hop songs of all time, I Got a Story to Tell will come up before Rewind. But I think Rewind's a better storytelling record. Now, I guess we're looking at this in two different ways. I think that It Was a Good Day is a better song than Renee. But I think that Renee is a better storytelling record. All right. Niggas Bleed in the Kendrick Lamar Master Splinter starter. We got Niggas Bleed on that. And on the other side, there was a children's story, and you got Brenda's Got a Baby. That's interesting. I still got a children's story.
Fascinating, but yep.
Yeah.
Worth talking about, but not for long.
Then you got Rewind and Most Definitely Fat Booty. I got Rewind. Again, if we had a conversation of like best hip hop songs, these results would be slightly different.
No, hold on. If you mean best hip hop songs released as a single, then yes, slightly different. If we're talking best hip hop songs, no.
Just like what we covered in when we had our best hip hop songs, they damn near have to be singles. They do. We can't just be picking album songs. But this ain't because, that, so you don't because have... it get because it's like you have to have a qualifier, and singles have way more qualifying attributes than album songs. They just do.
I'm just qualifying that this nigga rapping backwards better than most people be rapping forwards.
He's incredible.
That's what I'm qualifying. Rap better backwards. Most guys rap forward. Can't rap forward like that. He rapping backwards like that. Next.
All right, so I ended up picking Renee over Niggas Bleed. What did you do with Today is a Good Day versus Niggas Bleed?
I took Niggas Bleed, but I didn't feel comfortable doing it.
Let's talk about that. You think Niggas Bleed is a better storytelling song than Today Was a Good Day?
Mike, can I say something about Niggas Bleed right quick? It's slightly overrated. And I don't want to say that and like throw up like a whole big alarm like I don't love Niggas Bleed. But when people talk about Niggas Bleed, you would think that it was the best rap storytelling song ever. And I'm like, no, like it's top. Where do I have it? It's top 15, Mike.
You know what? There's one song that they left out that Terminator brought up in the chat.
I told you, Mike, I Got a Story to Tell is actually more enjoyable and lyrically to me better.
I like it better too.
And also too, Mike, Somebody Gotta Die is actually a more compelling and startling ending than Niggas Bleed. And niggas love the ending to Niggas Bleed. I'm like, Somebody Gotta Die got a better ending.
I agree. All right. This is what I was going to say.
Slightly overrated.
Listen, this is what I was gonna say. They're telling
that's
you
about to start all kinds of shit, especially with this Biggie picture hanging on my wall.
They're telling you to turn your mic off right now.
Right, I told you. What I say? It's about to start all types of shit.
Yeah, Jermaine Young said, "Nigga, what? Listen."
Yeah, nigga, what I said. So, Mike, we want to get into the inspiration.
Hold on, real quick. I was gonna ask about. I Used to Love It was left off. Where does that fit in the grand scheme of storytelling? Hip hop records, because I kind of left it off, and I'm thinking maybe I should have included it.
I feel that way too. Of all the records I went through, it's like, you want to know what? It feels so hip hop. You almost forget that he is telling a story. There, truthfully, because it feels so hip hop, like organically. So that's a very good comment. That's a better comment than telling me to cut my mic off. We about to talk about Niggas Bleed.
I mean. Is there anything?
Mike, hold on, Mike. No. Let's talk about Niggas Bleed.
But why did you? All right, if you feel like it's slightly overrated, why did you pick it over Today Was a Good Day?
Oh, when I say it's slightly overrated, I'm talking about how people talk about it. I'm not talking about rating the song in terms of how epic it is. It's one of the best rap songs ever. It's one of the best rap storytelling songs ever. But people talk about, how about this? In terms of talking like that on a record and telling a story, Mike, like, it's more comparable to Spot Rushers to me than the setup. Like, it's super entertaining. It's dope. The beat that I Got a Story to Tell is better, and he's lyrically better on I Got a Story to Tell. Somebody Gotta Die got a better ending. I can go within his own catalog on the same damn disc and show you that. Tell me the beat that I Got a Story to Tell with the fucking mahogany loop that they took, which is the James Brown loop that they took, ain't fucking doper beat the Niggas Bleed.
I mean, Mike, I just made that same argument with Rewind, but yeah, you preach it to the choir.
Mike, no. Let's go to the setup right quick by Nas. Every time I hear Niggas Bleed, it's like, oh, he listened to the setup and shootouts off It Was Written. That's part of how I rate Niggas Bleed like that, because it came out a year after those epic songs. When I hear Niggas Bleed, I'm like, that's his response for the setup, which I find the setup and Niggas Bleed to be comparable records, as in, the setup isn't Nas's best storytelling record. So when y'all are talking about Niggas Bleed like it's Big's best storytelling record, I'm like, I don't know. It's more like the setup.
What about Black Steel and Hour of Chaos? Because that was left out too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's on my top 20 list, actually.
We getting heavy.
No, that actually made the back end of my top 20.
Why was Warning not there? I'd rather see Warning there than Niggas Bleed, personally.
Warning is Warning technically a story?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike Warning is better than Niggas Bleed. Yeah. All day, every day. Because how about this? This is what I mean. And so I want cats to think about it like this too. Even when I'm talking about how great the story is, I think about if you're going to that album, how quick are you going to that song?
Right. No.
Because that's what I'm saying about Big on Life After Death on disc 1. It's like you're more likely to go to I Got a Story to Tell the Niggas Bleed. Stop playing with me. It's not even the best story on that album. So how can it be the best rap song? How can it be the best rap story ever? And niggas treat it like it's the best rap story ever when it's not even the best rap story on his damn album. And so that makes it slightly overrated.
Well, this is the thing. Somebody said how did Grandmaster Flash the message get left off? Is that a storytelling record? I guess so.
I guess is the whole of. I mean, I haven't listened to the record.
It doesn't all come together, but it's all individual
story. Because I know it's a great visual aid in terms of descriptively how he's describing the New York streets. But is it an actual story? Because I think one of the verses is a story.
Love's Gonna Get You.
I got Love's Gonna Get You on my top 20. Love's Gonna Get You on my top 20.
Okay, well, let's get to your. Let me get to my list. Because I'm adding stuff on my list as we go that I didn't consider because I used to love her. I was like, damn, how did I leave that
I'm going to have to rework some things too because I don't have I Used to Love Her or Warning in there. And those are great calls.
Those are great calls. Mind Playing Tricks, I'm sure you got on there. Well, I ended up...
That's top 10.
I ended up having A Children's Story and Renee in the finals, and I had A Children's Story winning that. I mean, you guys can go on Complex and do your own bracket, but again, these are the songs that they had to choose from. I don't think Undying Love was a great one to have to pull from Nas. I agree with you on the Niggas Bleed. That should have been Warning. I don't think that Outkast even should have had a record on there. I don't think that Meet the Parents should have been on there. Because I know somebody earlier in the chat, I guess they just saw the title of the show, said that Andre 3000 is one of the best storytellers in hip-hop. But I'm like, based on what?
Based on what?
I mean, as great as Outkast is, they didn't really tell stories like that. I mean, when it was time to do so, they were able to do so. But, I mean, shit, I'll look at what Big Boy did on West Savannah a little bit more, than anything Dre did.
It's more of a descriptive narrative that you typically don't get from them, yes.
All right, well, this is what I had. Top 5 storytelling songs all time, right? I got A Children's Story at number 1. I think it is the best hip-hop story ever in song format.
We agree.
Yeah, if there was somebody who was like, yo, what hip-hop song, like they never heard hip-hop at all, and was like, look, give me the blueprint of storytelling, I'm going there. Because it's a dope song, shit. Even when Montel Jordan recycled it for This Is How We Do It, that's even a classic. This was one of those songs that everybody knew the words to. From beginning to end. Rewind, I had number 2.
Mike, that's crazy. I got Rewind number 2 as well.
Because I think the Rewind is just, just so the execution and the creativity, it's next level. It's one thing to say that, I mean, because clearly he went out there and was inspired by Memento, a movie that came out around that time where the story was told backwards. It's one thing to see that and say, that would be dope. But to actually execute it in the way that he did, as flawless as he did, where you actually understood what was going on, next level. After that, man, I got Scarface, Never Seen a Man Cry. That's where I went with Scarface. I had a few options with Scarface. I thought about A Minute to Pray, A Second to Die, which was it was a little bit more cinematic. Obviously, Mind Playing Tricks on Me. There's a lot going on in that song. I think that's one of the greatest hip-hop songs ever, but if we're just talking about strictly story, I went Never Seen a Man Cry because, that shit is just chilling, man. And you feel every fucking word of that record.
So we have a slight difference. First of all, 3 Scarface records, or 3 records that Scarface wrote, made my top 10 of best stories ever, which is why I bumped him up to number 2 when I realized how epic his best of his best was. I got All That I Got Is You third, though, Mike, by Ghostface, because you want to know
I
what?
got
I
that
remembered
fourth.
something,
That
and I
could go
didn't
either
listen to
way.
the song today.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first rap song that I ever heard that made grown men around me cry
Yeah.
when they heard the record. And Mike, I'm gonna tell you exactly where I was. I was on West Boulevard in Boulevard Homes when me and my homeboy Tremaine played that for his older brother Rope and all the homies in the room. And there was about 8 of us in the room. And most of the dudes in that room ain't the type of dudes you play with. You feel me, Mike? And after we got done playing that record, I'm talking that's the type of record that had the types of dudes that you ain't never seen in tears and walking out of the room to call their mother. I had never seen or felt anything like that since. And I'm sitting in a room with some of the toughest niggas I've ever seen in my life, even to this day. And by the time that record it got done playing, dudes was quiet, like the room was quiet, Mike. We in the projects, like the room was quiet. And one nigga was like, I'm going home to go hug my mama. Another dude was like, I'm going downstairs to use Tremaine mama phone to call my mama right now, nigga. It was like
record.
that. And so it's a moment because
Is Dear Mama a storytelling record?
Right. Well, part of why it resonated, Mike, is because if you come from that struggle that he's talking about in that record, it touches you in a way that almost makes the record hard to listen to once you become removed from it. Because it's one of those reminder records, too, that it's like, oh, no, I know exactly what fam talking about.
Oh, no, definitely. I was going to ask you, man, is Dear Mama a storytelling record, too?
I didn't consider it to be total a storytelling record because he's kind of doing what him and Nas do a lot. He's being nostalgic and weaving a story in sometimes with it. Him and Nas have a lot of records like that where there's a story within the format of the song, but not the totality of the song.
All right. I would
have Dear Mama at number 1 if that's the case, even over a children's story.
I'm with you on that. I got All That I Got Is You at 4. And you know what? Let me go back to Never Seen a Man Cry. Just again, kind of like with the Nas and Rewind, I never at that point really heard rappers speak about, the afterlife and things in that way and in that perspective. Scarface has done it throughout his career, but it was just chilling in the execution of it all. And back then when Scarface used to walk around with that top hat where it was like almost Grim Reaper-like, it was... I had never seen, because you always, obviously Ghostface is top notch when it comes to his description and how he executes and how emotional he gets on the mic. So his execution is different, but subject wise, you've heard people talk about the struggle. You've heard people talk about, things in that nature, even Wu. But we've never seen a man cry. I'd never heard an MC execute on something to that degree. And it was a hit, too. Yeah, someone said Never Seen a Man Cry was a hit, too. Yeah, and it's crazy that a song like that would even be a hit. And with the video, since we're sitting here adding videos in there when we talk about Eminem and Stan, when you see the video and you see this man, basically his life is, going away on screen, like, that shit is like, whoa, what did I just watch? And the song just goes with all of it. It's incredible. If Eminem made that song, people would say it's the greatest song ever made.
Absolutely. I will agree with you on that. Mike, here's what I will say to that record. Because I did pick a Scarface record at number 4, but I did not pick that record because I went and listened to the other record today, and I feel like he was just more cinematic, and it's deeper and it's darker, though it's not a single. But have you ever seen somebody's breakout single be something like Never Seen a Man Die? Like Never Seen a Man Die and Get At Me Dog are the two most, to me, outlier, groundbreaking records for artists that you'll find, because it's like, well, shit like that usually don't fly.
I feel like that about Through the Wire and Cell Therapy, too.
Through the Wire and Cell Therapy is more aesthetically pleasing initially than those two records that I just named. Cell Therapy
has a great hook.
Right, that's what I mean about more aesthetically pleasing. Like, you get drawn in by that hook, and that beat is just kind of eerie enough that you're kind of interested. Get At Me Dog is like, what are they doing? And it's like Never Seen a Man Die is just like, okay, like this the tone that's being set for this album. And Mike, and what's crazy about it, Never Seen a Man Die is the appropriate tone for the diary.
It
the
is.
appropriate tone being set by a single for a classic gangster rap album. It's like the most appropriate single ever because it actually gets deeper and darker than that on the diary, which
I'm cool with my top 4. Now at 5, man, I had Renee floating around, and then I got I Used to Love Her floating around, Black Still in the Hour of Chaos floating around. No.
Well, hold on, Mike, because we're going to give Faith some more flowers because I got A Minute to Pray and A Second to Die as my number 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got the same artist at 3 and 4. We just picked different records, and I'm pretty sure you got A Minute to Pray, A Second to Die. That's probably going to be the next Face record that you would mention. Mm-hmm. But I listened to it the day, Mike, and then I look at the time that it was being made, Mike. Yeah. I mean, and you could actually say that at the point that it got made, it was the second best rap story that you had ever heard, ever, clearly next to A Children's Story. And think about how drastically different that record is on every level for you to be able to say that. And that's why I put it over A Never Seen a Man Die. I actually think it's better lyrically. I think it's more intense. I think it's more cinematic.
Terminator 2 says that Renee is overrated. Why do you feel that way? Because,
Mike got overplayed, but not overrated.
It's one of those songs that, again, I think the execution's there, the results was there. Look, the Lost Boys was hot when I'm talking about Cass. Lex Coop's Beamers and Benz came out. I mean, Renee was next, but I think Renee is one of those crossover singles for a group that you didn't think had a crossover single in them. It's a crossroad-like thing.
See, I thought they were kind of that anyway because I thought Jeep's Lex, I thought that record was kind of like party anthem-ish.
It was, but Renee was something else, though. I feel like
Renee was something else.
Yeah. I think that Lex Coop's Beamers and Benz was still the streets.
Yeah, that was a hit on some rap shit still, but it was like kind of party inspired.
Yeah, definitely. Music Makes Me High was like some, still street shit. But Renee was like, we're a little bit deeper than this.
Yeah. No. Cheeks hit a lick with that one. Okay.
So you got Renee. Yeah, but you know what? I will say this. I will concede to the fact that it probably ain't the best story told or the best executed because, when you put it up against a Black Still in an Hour of Chaos or I Used to Love Her or Warning, it's hard to say that. But see, Mr. Cheeks isn't the MC that these guys are.
So that's your number 5?
I don't know what my number 5 is, man. I want to say my number 5 is I Used to Love Her, but I think I might go Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos as my number 5. I got a letter from the government the other day.
Mike, Black Steel. Okay, so I guess it's all about how you weigh things. Do you want to know what I had at number 5?
What's that?
I Gave You Power.
I Gave You Power was incredible. And I'm surprised that they didn't have it in that bracket.
Because if you go to I Used to Love Her and Black Steel, like lyrically, he's just blowing everybody.
Well, he's nice.
Right, and that's him at his lyrical finest, and he's telling a story at his lyrical finest, and it's a metaphor on top of that.
I get it.
So I guess the hip hop purist in me probably enjoys listening to I Used to Love Her or Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos. But to the people that think those records are better, I understand that what you would be telling me is that a Nas record where he's using a metaphor with him as a gun, when he's at his lyrically sharpest over a DJ Premier beat, like you gonna tell me I Used to Love Her and Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos is better? Because I'm gonna tell you that you're being more nostalgic than you are weighing it on a proper scale.
Well, this is the thing. I think that Pen Game and on a creative storytelling level, Nas is probably the most creative storyteller hip hop's ever seen.
And this is his most creative moment, or second most creative moment.
I think Rewind is definitely his most creative moment.
See, so here's why this is his most creative moment.
I enjoy as songs. Mike, it's his most creative. I enjoy Blazer 50 and Shootouts in the setup more than I do I Gave You Power. Not saying that they're
more
better.
entertaining.
Yeah.
They're more entertaining records, but that's because the subject matter isn't as heavy. But why I say I Gave You Power is his most creative record is that he clearly pulled Rewind from the movie Memento. Like, so creatively, I Gave You Power is more innovative, even though a lot of people feel like he was pulling from main sources, Looking at the Front Door.
I was going to say, no, there was a record on the main source.
Yeah, Looking at the Front Door.
It wasn't Looking at the Front Door. Hold on. It'll come to me in a minute.
Was it? You're right, it's not Looking at the Front Door, but there's a record on there where they talk about being the gun, right?
Yep. No. You're thinking about the group that Pharoah Monch was in.
Organized Confusion.
Organized Confusion did that before.
Right.
So yeah,
right.
I mean,
like,
and usually when we get on lives, I have brain farts. You know what I'm saying? Because you're on live and you're going. So
yeah, we're live.
We know what we're talking about, but yeah. So that was kind of. I don't want to say that was pulled from that. I don't know, but I'm sure Nas heard that record. So
yeah, of course he's ahead.
It is what it is.
But like lyrically, the execution is too high and too strong on the first, second, and third verses. Low key, one of his best hooks is Primo on the track. It really has no flaws. I mean, I find it to be like, it's not the best record on It Was Written, but it's one of those things that make It Was Written a classic for me.
I feel you. And again, I
got Never Seen a Man Die at number 6 though, so I was arguing between those two songs. But Mike, those verses, like he's too lyrically above and beyond. Like, and while he's telling a story, always I'm in some shit. My abdomen is the click, the barrel's my dick. Uncircumcised, pull my skin back and cock me. I bust off when niggas unlock me. Results for what happened from niggas shot me. Stunningly, I see niggas running from me in fear. Yeah, like he's just
Unknown Name says he was a bullet, not a gun on the Organized Confusion record. You know what? Unknown Name is definitely Jay-Z out there, you know, from the burner account.
Somebody definitely on the burner who know they shit though.
Pharoah Monch, is that you?
I hope. Look. I hope it's not Jay about them Foxy comments we've been making.
Yeah, Foxy is being ignored, and that ain't cool. Anybody should know that, you know.
We not about to have that shit though. So you're gonna have to deal with whatever that you was doing when she was a minor.
Organized Confusion is a stray bullet. So yeah, that record was what it was, and I think that that's just hip hop evolving and somebody taking something like, okay, I see what they did there. Let me take it to that next level. I'm with you on I Gave You Power. I'm just gonna be perfectly honest. I just never have been a super fan of the record. It's a great record, but it's not one of my go-tos.
But everybody that says that, it's like, okay, so tell me what the record's missing though.
It's not missing anything. It's not missing anything. It's just something about it. It's like, I think, you know what? I'm going to be honest. Especially for a premiere track, I'm not a huge fan of the beat like that. I'm not.
It's one of his more understated tracks. It's almost like it's one of the few Primo beats you have to tell people Primo did the beat.
Yeah. I don't feel like the beat is, and again, I don't want to sound like I'm nitpicking or whatever. I'm just being perfectly honest. When I put on It Was Written, it's not one of the 5 or 6 songs I go to. And you know how much I love, Silent Murder and shit like that.
Well, that's what Mike. What I was about to tell you is that the beat is actually better. It's better than the beat on Shootouts, though.
Not to me. I mean, I
really you think the beat on Shootouts is better than I Gave You Power?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, if that's what you like. If you like Trackmasters over Primo, no. If you like Trackmasters over Primo on It Was Written, okay.
Gray says Pac made me and my girlfriend after hearing I Gave You Power. So I mean, even in that
we
sense,
all know that.
Though,
yeah.
Even in that sense, though, I mean, I wasn't even trying to leave I Gave You Power out, but it didn't even register when I was asked about, top storytelling songs. But I agree, it should have been on this complex bracket. Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't have that there as opposed to Undying Love.
Mike, they could at least have Blaze of 50 on there.
Well, they're probably not going to put Blaze of 50 on there. That's like...
They put Niggas Bleed on there.
I don't know why Niggas Bleed was on there over Warning either.
No, Mike, you make it... The Warning comment might be the best comment of the show. Like, we all missed Warning.
What about One Love?
Is that a whole story, though? Because it's 2 different stories.
What up, kid?
Sometimes I sit back with a Buddha sack, mine's in another world. Mike, he does the same thing on New York State of Mind. Pick the Mac up, Toe Brothers back up, the Mac split. But then the second verse, he's on some other shit. Him and Pac be doing that. They'll tell you a whole story, and then they'll riff into some other shit. I actually named some tracks where he's doing it. Because he got like another 10 songs that are great where he's telling a story within the song, but it's not a full story.
Yeah, K. Thompson just asked, what about One Love? But I'm sure you just answered that.
Yeah. It's two different stories. It's like, which story are you talking
Murder
about?
Was the Case.
I love Murder Was the Case.
We have ranted and raved about Murder Was the Case on this show before, too.
Fresh about my coma. Got my mama and my baby and my
daddy.
Everybody
knows what happened in that story.
Yeah.
And then he gets up and walks around. Yeah, Murder Was the Case.
You to walk again and talk again, but anyway.
I tell you what, on this complex bracket, Murder Was the Case definitely should have been there over the artist storytelling. And I'm a huge Outkast fan.
Mike, it should have been over Meet the Parents. And Niggas Bleed, Mike.
And I'm going to say something controversial here on this mic. Murder Was the Case should have been on there over Stan. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I don't care what Ghostface says.
No, Mike, that ain't controversial. I'll give you that. No.
Ghostface,
right.
Holla at me, man. Let's debate this whole Stan and Murder Was the Case thing.
Mike, they hitting us with most stuff. They just hit me with something else that didn't make my list, and I should have Murder Was the Case on my list, yeah.
What else you got on your list?
I Never Seen a Man Die on the list. The stuff that you already know, I got a story to tell.
You said you got 20.
Yeah, I do. You named some of them. Black Steel and the Hour of Chaos I had down. Niggas Bleed is down here. Shootouts is down here. Mind Playing Tricks on Me.
Oh, somebody brought up a good one for Jay. And I think this one should have been over there, on there over Meet the Parents. Song Cry should have been on there over Meet the Parents.
No. Okay. Mona Lisa by Slick Rick.
I was going to ask you about Mona Lisa, actually.
Mona Lisa's on here. I got Mona Lisa in my top 10, actually.
You say Song Cry no. Why?
No, it's not better than the records I'm naming. Is Song Cry better than the records I just named?
Shocked on the other end of the phone. We're back on. No, we're giving him points because of who he is.
Right. Is it better than Mahogany by Rakim?
It could be. It could be.
Now the people about to get at you for calling Song Cry better than Mahogany.
No, man, we got Jay-Z in the room. I got to be right, man, you know.
I don't care. Tell him to do the right thing and make sure Foxy get her flowers since that nigga in the room. Blazer 50 by Nas.
Blazer 50 by Nas. I love Blazer 50.
Mike, The Moment I Feared by Slick Rick.
Somebody mentioned Lil Wayne, Mona Lisa. Yeah, Mona Lisa, Kendrick, and Wayne. 2 people have mentioned that. The Moment I Feared. I would put Song Cry over The Moment I Feared. I love The Moment I Feared. You know who's really influenced by Slick Rick in that way? And when you said The Moment I Feared, I thought about Eminem's record, Brain Damage. Mm-hmm. Reminds me a lot of that. And the characters that Eminem would bring up and all that when he was doing the Slim Shady thing. That is very Slick Rick-esque, and no one ever really makes that connection.
No. Oh, Mike, I got one of my personal favorites, the MGM. The MGM is a story, Mike.
It is.
It is. It's a great story. You feel like you ringside with them dudes.
You know what I like better than that? And this might be an unpopular opinion. I love the Hilton.
You're wrong, but okay.
The Hilton is dope.
The Hilton is dope, Mike, but it's not like, you know.
Yo, Ghost was going in, man. He slipped on the soap and all that shit. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I like Shaky Dog off Fish Scale. I don't have it on here, but I just wanted to give that a shout out.
Yeah, somebody mentioned Shaky Dog.
Shaky Dog off Fish Scale to me is Ghost's second best story after All That I Got Is You.
You know, we talk about female MCs a lot on this, and we were talking about giving Foxy her flowers and all of that. What is the best story told on a hip-hop song by a female MC? I got Poor Georgie by MC Light.
I knew you were going to say that because that's the obvious choice, so I'm going to go with a dark horse choice and say Aunt Dot off the Notorious K.I.M.
I like that one. I really like that one. Yeah, I like Aunt Dot. That was a dope song. You know what? The Notorious K.I.M. had its moments. I never realized that album sold that much. That album sold like 5 million.
Yeah, the Notorious K.I.M.'s dope moments are really fucking dope.
I like Aunt
And
Dot. That's a good one.
and Aunt Dot is dope. And that was one of my favorite beats that year too. I love that beat.
Yeah,
It
I
was
was gonna
perfect for
say
her.
that beat was dope.
Yeah.
I'm
Aunt Dot.
interested to hear what everybody else got to say in the chat when it comes to
That's
that.
some that's some head shit too, Mike. If you know Aunt Dot, like from the Notorious K.I.M., you ahead if you know that record.
Everybody's saying poor Georgie.
Of course, that's why I picked Aunt Dot, because that's the easy record to go to.
Zion by Lauryn Hill. That's more. Is that a rap song? Nah.
She ain't rapping, nigga. Who said that?
Oh, Nonchalant 5 o'clock. I love it. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's
no,
a
I'll
good
take
one.
that.
I'll
take that. It's not better than what I said, but yeah.
What about Razkaz's nature of the threat? Is that a story?
It's more of a
It is a
thesis and a
story.
dissertation.
It's a history lesson.
Right. It's more of a dissertation than it is a story.
Incredible song. I think it's one of the best hip hop songs ever made when you consider what it does.
That dude teaching my theology class.
It's incredible. And I was gonna ask again, like, if we're talking about, let's just say, best hip hop story in a song, let's say in the 2000s. We'll break it up by decades, right? Because I know a lot of these that we have here are from a certain era. So in the 80s, we're gonna go with Slick Rick, A Children's Story. So in the 90s, it looks like it's probably gonna be a Scarface or All That I Got Is You or something.
I'm about to say it's looking like a Scarface or a Ghostface record.
So if we're doing the early 2000s, you got Rewind. Now, if we're talking 2010s, best story in a hip hop song.
I mean, God, would it be Master Shireen? Like was on the Complex list?
Is that Kendrick's best story?
See, I like The Art of Peer Pressure.
I like The Art of Peer Pressure as well.
Me too. I think it's better than Shireen. Like, so it's like even when they put Shireen up, I was like, well, why you put that up over? You know, like, so
not like you like that better than How Much a Dollar Costs?
No, How Much a Dollar Costs is his best story, but it's not gonna make a list like that. That's why I was surprised Undying Love made the list, because it's like one of those album tracks where it's like you really, really got to know the artist.
But what do you think is the best hip hop story told in the 2010s? Is it How Much a Dollar Costs?
For me, I would have to say that's the only one that I can think of that I've been stunned by.
People are saying Sing About Me also.
Hold on. I'm about to say, Mike, it actually would probably all be Kendrick records, because I immediately thought about The Art of Peer Pressure. I thought about How Much a Dollar Costs, and I thought about Duckworth.
Duckworth.
So pick a Kendrick record.
Is it just him? People in the chat, let me know in the 2010s. I don't want to just,
Like, that's why he's up so high.
That's just to be fixated on Kendrick.
Mike, so
I think he's a very underrated
So let's talk about him right quick and how long he's been gone, but why people are still waiting. Well, when we have conversations like this, it becomes clear and apparent that he's the main keeper of the flame.
Ooh,
and that's why people are waiting.
I know this is a subject that we covered like a couple of subjects ago, but somebody said Eve, Love is Blind. That's a good one.
That's a great one.
That's a great one.
That's a great one.
So where does Kendrick fall all time when it comes to storytelling MCs?
I mean, he's up high. He would probably be on the back end of my top 10. He's high. He's like where he is with everything is like where he's supposed to be. Like he's somewhere either in the top 10 with shit or right outside the top 10. Like in all things.
We got Nas, we got in no particular order, Ghostface, Scarface, Biggie,
Slick
Rick, and then where are we going? Ice Cube, Tupac.
Yep.
Is Kendrick a better storyteller than Ice Cube or Tupac?
He's a more detailed storyteller than Ice Cube, not a better storyteller than Tupac.
Why is he not a better storyteller than Ice Cube?
No, I like we can argue about the Ice Cube thing. We're not arguing about the Tupac thing.
No, we're not. No, I'm with you on that. Why is he not a better? So, do you not feel like Tupac was a better storyteller than Biggie? And why?
Ooh.
Because everything that you're probably going to say Tupac over Kendrick, you could probably say the same thing Tupac over Biggie.
You're absolutely right, Mike. So you've given me something to think about because I've always had Biggie as a better storyteller than Tupac. I've always had Big definitely in my top 5 and Pac somewhere right outside. So I got to think about that.
Okay.
That's one of those things. I'm not going to give you no straight up and down answer right now because especially when you're talking about those two guys, it's like, no, I'm going to give that some weight and think about that and go listen to some more records. But you're making a very valid point.
Because I understand what you're saying about Pac, and I think that's probably, I think Pac's weight when it comes to storytelling kind of delves into that whole Ghostface and Scarface debate, right?
Well, Mike, that's exactly what I was about to say because everything that I was about to say that makes Pac a better storyteller than Kendrick actually makes him a better storyteller than Big too.
Yeah,
the arguments that I was going to make in his favor would be the same arguments I would apply to Big because Kendrick and Big are more lyrical and detail oriented than Pac. Yeah. But you don't feel that shit.
No.
Like, you don't feel Kendrick and Big stories the way you feel Pac stories.
Do you think Big's a better storyteller than Kendrick, though, right?
Yes.
Why exactly? I'm just asking.
He's just better voice, better delivery, better execution, more detail-oriented. Even for his detail-oriented is like part of why, like, here's what I will give niggas bleed. Oh, super detail-oriented, like on a Nas type level. Today's agenda, got the suitcase up in the Centra, go to room 112, tell him Blanco sent you.
I think Big was very creative in his writings, too. I think that as a creative writer, I think him and Nas were, somewhere else with it. And I think Kendrick's there, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they're creative writers, whereas Pac, Scarface, and Ghostface, they're writing from the heart, and you feel
they're writing from the reality of the heart.
Yeah.
These guys, how about this? These guys, like Kendrick, Big, and Nas, are able to take the reality of a moment that somebody has shared with them and craft a whole narrative around it.
Incredible writers.
Right.
Whereas
like Big would be at a bar talking to an old big time hustler, and that's where the inspiration from Niggas Bleed would come from. He'd be able to take that convo and go make niggas bleed. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. And I don't know where Ice Cube fits in all that, but Ice Cube is great with the storytelling as well. So you kind of got Kendrick around 7-ish, sounds like.
Yeah. Like I said, on the back end of my top 10. So yeah, 7, 8, 9-ish.
This is what I will say about Kendrick that's impressive. And I guess we can kind of talk about these thoughts of his album coming too, and then kind of be out. But what is impressive about Kendrick is he is a storyteller in a time in hip hop where storytelling's really not a mandatory thing. It's not even really a thing.
So that's what I mean about, well, this is
like,
one of
what
those
stories
things.
does Drake have?
So when people are like, oh, well, we'll wait as long as forever for Kendrick. So when we're having these real hip hop based conversations, well, here's why. Because when we start getting to this era and we're talking about hip hop, his name usually comes up first, second, and third. He's the keeper of the flame in a lot of ways. And even Ghost said it during the Complex thing. Like, you should watch the Ghost thing. He went into a whole thing of talking about Cole and Kendrick for a minute. He was like, he said he's one of the new guys who inspire me with the pen to go right. He was like him and that's what I'm saying. These, like, those dudes from our era that we came up on, you have to understand they're in their mid to late 40s now. So when they look at Kendrick and Cole in their 50s. Early 30s, they look at them like fresh and new.
Listen, I think we got to really, I think in hip hop period, and I get it, we got to get past this notion that Kendrick, Cole, and that class are the new guys. These guys have been here 10 plus years.
No.
And that's generous.
So, Mike, I'm going to give you something. It's a little bit of food right now, because when Ghost was talking and he was saying that, I realized something. Oh, the head's got a cutoff point. In the Cole and Kendrick thing, oh, that's their cutoff point. They're not settling for less. They're not settling or acknowledging less than that from the craft of MCing. You get what I'm saying? So when Ghost is talking about of the new generation, he's pretty much saying, like, no, like the dudes from my era, we acknowledging Cole and we acknowledging Kendrick, because he's talking about the inspiration to write from the craft of MCing. Because Mike,
but what about Conway and them?
No. I mean, he didn't speak to that. I mean, okay, so Mike, the front man for Griselda sounds like who?
Yeah.
And so he's never really spoken on it, and he's never really said that he's had a problem with it.
I mean,
But
Raekwon works with them all the time. I'm sure they're good,
Mike,
but I
Ray and
think that
Ghost ain't the same person.
I
Ray is
agree
the
with
glue
you.
guy.
I agree with
Ray
you.
is the glue guy. Ray is not just the Mike. Ray is to the point. Ray is not just the glue guy for Wu-Tang. Ray is a glue guy for New York.
I think that
The aesthetic ain't the same. Mike, on the Purple Tape album, who talking shit, Ray or Ghost?
yeah, I feel you. I know. I
You
mean,
feel me?
that's just what it is. I
So
don't think Ghost would.
he probably not gonna be so quick to shout out Griselda because the competitor in Ghost is like, yeah, but that's me. He's taking like that's new Ghost. Like
But
he's
not
like, but old Ghost
Conway
still
though.
here.
Not Conway and Benny though.
But same camp, Mike. Ghost competitive. Mike Ghost was competitive with Big. He talking shit about Big when Big is the biggest rapper in the game. You think he care?
I think that I just think for a certain era of MC, Kendrick and Cole is just the talking point. You know what I'm saying? Like it's such a
Mike, when
on
somebody
the
like
surface
Jermaine Dupri
debate.
is talking, Mike, when Jermaine Dupri is talking, it's a talking point. When an MC the caliber of Ghost is talking about them, that's another conversation. When he's saying, I don't get inspired by the new generation, but those guys right there inspire me to write. And specifically referencing Kendrick, no, that means something. That says a lot about how a lot of the crop from that generation and that era may feel too. It's more insightful for how I think people from that era view things than you think. Because Ghost is like Mike Ghost. I mean, Mike, is there a more famous skit in the history of rap than that Shark Biter skit?
Well, it's probably like Woodrow or something. No, I know what you mean though.
Yeah. So like all I'm saying is that like part of what made that skit so famous is because Ghost was the type of nigga even then that wasn't scared to check up on shit.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, even with the whole Eminem praise for Stan and stuff, I think that this is one of those things that you get when you're talking to a certain media, right? Like he was on Complex. I'm sure if you and I were having a conversation with Ghost and he was on our show, I think that the conversation of MCing would probably extend further than a Kendrick and Cole
Mike.
Conversation. I just do.
No, Mike, he was surprisingly fair. Like he gave Miss Fat Booty the nod. Like when it got the rewind.
He was on that remix though.
And he talked about why he wanted to get on the remix. He even talked about how the beat to Mrs. Fat Booty was better than the beat to Maxine. He's like, a beat killing the beat to Maxine.
It is.
So Ghost was being honest. Like when it got to him and Nas on the rewind thing, he was like, it's over for me.
Yeah.
He's like, it's over for me.
No,
he's like, I'm out right there. He's like, that's where I'm out.
Listen,
right there.
I'm not saying he wasn't being fair. I'm just saying that, you know what I mean? Like, when you're on a mainstream platform, it's a little different, the hip-hop conversations that you're having. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he chose from what was there. But again, if Warning were brought up, if Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos were brought up, Never Seen a Man Cry were brought up, I think they're like, oh, yeah, forget about those things. Because when you're put on the spot, you kind of adjust to the environment you're in. And then when you leave, you're like, oh, man, I forgot this, this, and this. But when an environment's created in a sense where it's like, listen, when it comes to hip-hop right now, and Complex is as mainstream as hip-hop gets and they do a good job of what they're doing, you're going to bring up Kendrick Cole or Drake in a hip-hop conversation. It's just going to happen.
That's fair. First of all, Drake didn't come up at all.
Of course, but I'm just saying,
But I will say this, and I don't say this too often, Mike. Like, I pretty much stay in my zone. I don't like most of these hip-hop media outlets, and it's not a personal thing. I'm going to go back to that Black Thought shit. Ain't it strange how the newspapers play with the language? So I'm very funny about what I take in. So what I take in, I usually take in via according to hip hop, or people literally have to shoot me articles directly to me on Instagram or Facebook, or message me or text me if you got my number. But Mike, Complex is the only reputable Main Street hip hop site that I follow.
They do a good job.
And it's because they do a good job. The only one that I follow. I don't follow none of these other rap publications. And so I'm going to give Ghost some credence, and I'm going to give Complex some credence and say they were keeping it as funky as they could possibly keep it.
I mean, that's why we're even doing this segment, because, you know, they did such a really good job on that. And I think that, you know, us being able to cover that spinoff, you know, was definitely needed. And again, even the people in the chat gave us some songs that we left out that
there's tons of songs, Mike. Yeah, there's tons of songs.
There are tons
I mean,
of
like this riff that I went on when I made my 20, I did that off the top of my head, like, you know, an hour before the show.
Yeah.